Has it ever crossed your mind that there are some families who rule the world? These families control every sector, from banking, politics to entertainment. They control what you eat, see and watch. This tiny group of families at the top of the food chain control both domestic and international affairs. But wait a minute, which families are we talking about? And how influential are they? Well, let's get started. 9. The Clintons. This family has gone through their fair share of elections and scandals. Take a look at Bill Clinton. He made his first attempt for the presidency in 1992 after 11 years as governor of Arkansas. We also have his wife Hillary Clinton, who started her own political career after serving as the First Lady for 8 years. Afterwards, she went on to represent New York in the US Senate. And in 2008, she ran for president but was defeated by Barack Obama in the Democratic primary. Later, she worked for Obama as his Secretary of State. Nevertheless, she again campaigned for presidency in 2016, becoming the first woman to get a major party's nomination, but Donald Trump defeated her in the main election. The Clintons have reportedly generated over $1 billion since leaving the White House, largely from Bill's writing and speaking engagements. Although there are no signs that Hillary may run for president in 2024, the Clintons continue to be involved through the Clinton Foundation. 8. The Roosevelt Family. During the 31-year gap between Theodore Roosevelt and Franklin D. Roosevelt's term as president, there were significant junctions in American history. Following the assassination of William McKinley, Teddy Roosevelt took over as president and ruled for 8 years. He laid a solid base for the nation's national park system by starting the Panama Canal project and prioritising conservation. In 1905, FDR, Teddy Roosevelt's sixth cousin, married Eleanor Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt's niece. After serving as governor of New York for 2 years, he decided to run for president in 1932. He won 3 more elections. Many believed Eleanor would continue the Roosevelt legacy after his death, but she turned down the Democratic candidacy for senator and chose to serve the United States at the UN as its first representative. In the middle of the 20th century, James and Franklin Roosevelt, sons of Eleanor, served as representatives for California and New York in the House of Representatives. Since then, the Roosevelts have been wielding significant power from the shadows. 7. The Ruperts. It all began with a little cigarette manufacturer back in 1941. And from that tiny investment, the Ruperts have grown their business empire to be worth billions of dollars. Their conglomerate, known by the name Richemont, includes luxury brands including Cartier, Montblanc and Dunhill. Moreover, they influence the Remgro investing firm. The family also has a significant amount of stock in the wine and brandy industries, owning up to 80% of brandy sales and approximately 5% of the wine industry in South Africa. The family's wine company collaborates with the Rothschilds, another example of how money is kept within the ranks of the privileged. Rupert Murdoch has been a CEO for the longest time in history. He's also more despised and powerful than ever. In the 2000s, he rose to prominence as an investor in satellite television, movies and the internet. He also bought the Wall Street Journal. According to Forbes' list of the world's most powerful people, he has ranked top 10 severally. 6. The Pritzker Family. This family has maintained its position on the world's most influential families list almost continuously ever since it was first started in 1982. During the 20th century, they saw a surge in their fortune, which was mostly due to the establishment and expansion of the Hyatt Hotel Corporation. Through the ownership of Hyatt's global parent firm, Marmont Group, the family controls a substantial chain of 5-star luxury hotels worldwide. Some other assets controlled by the firm include the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, the Superior Bank of Chicago, a TransUnion credit agency, Braniff Airlines and McCall. And by the way, in the 2008 election, J.B. Pritzker was one of Hillary Clinton's co-campaign chairmen. In the same year, he served as a delegate for the Democrats, and in 2016, he did the same for the National Democrats. However, currently, he serves as the governor of Illinois. 5. The Rockefellers. Originally from Germany, the Rockefeller family immigrated to America in the 18th century. When they began investing in the petroleum industry, they gained a huge fortune that has trickled down to date. John D. Rockefeller founded Standard Oil in the 1870s in Cleveland. However, he eventually extended his company to many other states. By acquiring competing refineries and creating subsidies, Standard Oil established a monopoly in the oil sector. At its height, Standard Oil controls roughly 90% of the pipelines and refineries in the United States. The family also works in the banking and real estate industry. 4. The Morgan Family. Another American family with roots in the 19th century is the Morgan family. They affected the global and American economies. Their main source of riches was the banking sector. Among the most well-known was J.P. Morgan. He was a well-known banker and businessman who oversaw a business that ultimately became known as J.P. Morgan & Co. By supporting the creation of trusts and mergers within multiple businesses, which assisted in lowering rivalry and increasing efficiency across industries, he is credited with turning Wall Street into an organised, close-knit club. The Morgan family also contributed to the growth of American society by funding railroad construction projects and aiding in the establishment of significant businesses like US Steel and General Electric. 3. The Rothschild family. No ranking of the richest and most influential families is complete without the Rothschilds. Numerous conspiracy theories about the future world order and planned international conflicts have been levelled at this family. The Rothschilds rose to prominence in the late 17th century when Mayer Amschel Rothschild founded his banking firm. Moreover, he served as the German royal family's personal banker. His 5 sons later expanded the company and opened offices in London, Paris, Frankfurt, Vienna, and Naples. During the Napoleonic Wars, the family was the only supporter of British military operations against the French Empire. At the beginning of the war, they were also funding the French Empire, but they soon recognised that it would be more beneficial for them if the British triumphed. As a result, they cut the French support. The fortune of the Rothschild family is mostly derived from their banking operations, but they also own significant investments in other industries, including real estate, oil, and construction. They supported several railway projects and were also in charge of Europe's industrialisation, which contributed to growth in many other regions of the world. 2. The Kennedy family. Perhaps the most well-known political family in American history is the Kennedy family. It all started when the first Kennedy served in the Massachusetts State Senate in 1884. Since then, the Kennedy family has played a significant role in American politics, giving birth to John F. Kennedy, the 35th president, and several senators, congressmen, and ambassadors. According to Forbes, the aggregate net worth of the Kennedy family's top 30 members is around $1.2 billion. It's now over 8 decades after they first entered politics, and the Kennedy family is still one of the most engaging and interesting families in American history. This is despite the fact that they have been involved in politics for all that time. Even if they made a reputation for themselves in politics, other aspects of their lives are most likely to attract and captivate you even now. 1. The Bush. There is no denying this family's power in American politics. The Bush family is one of 2 families in American history who gave birth to 2 presidents, the late George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush. So they have every right to convince us that they have been the most influential family in the country for close to 60 years. However, before taking office in 1988, George Sr., the son of Connecticut Senator Prescott Bush, served as a congressman, ambassador, CIA director, and vice president. George W., his oldest son, went on to win the presidency 12 years later. Surprisingly, this family has deep ties to the oil industry, the Saudis, the banking industry, Neil and the S&Ls, foreign governments, the CIA, and even the World Bank. They most certainly have unreported billions in the Cayman Islands and Zurich. Although it may be overstated, very few people in the history of America or the entire planet have ever held the amount of influence the Bush family holds. Maybe if you compare them to Andrew Carnegie or Henry Ford, but even Bill Gates' level of success is incomparable. If you previously believed that having money like Elon Musk was the only way to achieve influence, this list of the top 9 families must have changed your perspective. Anyway, Which other family do you think falls under this category? And by the way, which of the families intrigued you the most and why? That's all for this video. See you in the next one.